Hi everyone, my name's Holly, and this is another one of my recent reads videos. I kind of can't believe I'm already getting to this. I feel like I just filmed the last one. The first book on my list here is a YA contemporary romance called Love from A to Z by S.K. Ali. So this book was actually set in Qatar, which is definitely the first time, I'm pretty sure, I've ever read a book in the setting, and it sounds like such a beautiful, interesting place, and like one that I've never considered before, so that was like a really cool experience. This book is also a dual perspective between our main characters Adam and Zainab. Adam's family actually lives in Qatar, but he's just getting back from his first year at university abroad in London, and he's coming back with the devastating news that he actually has multiple sclerosis. And so he's dealing with that and not telling his family. He's got a lot on his plate. And then we're also following Zainab, who's a very like feisty, fury, kind of angry girl. And she's from America and her family's Muslim as well. And we see her leaving early to her trip to visit her aunt in Qatar because she was suspended from school for yelling at a teacher who was spreading Islamophobic bullshit. And so she's rightfully angry, but you know, this story, she sort of has to deal with those emotions and how to be constructive and when she's trying to make changes. One of the things that I truly appreciated about this book was that despite it being a love story, it's a romance between these two characters and we get both their perspectives, and that is definitely a plot. Each of these characters has their very own well-developed and complex and threaded plot of things that they're dealing with on their own. And it was just such a well-developed, complex weaving of all these plots. The writing also came across as a bit lyrical, but extremely down-to-earth and within reach. Like, nothing felt fluffy or overdone, but there was a little extra something, a little extra spirit to the writing. I don't know how to describe it. This book was just so great. I gave it 4 stars. The next book that I read is Come Tumbling Down by Seanan McGuire, and this is book number 5, I believe, in the Wayward Children series. And this book is an adult fantasy novella. It's very, very short. And all of these books in this series sort of have a meta exploration of the fantasy genre, but in particular children's portal fantasy. I wish we could spend so much more time with these characters and these stories, but such is the nature of novellas that we can't. But I really keep coming back to these books because I love the exploration of critiquing and exploring and poking and criticizing at times children's portal fantasy and what it does to the characters, what it does to readers, and what it all means. I don't want to spoil anything. It's not like these books are following a set overarching plot across all these books. They are very kind of episodic, but we do come back to some of the characters and there is some development of the plot through the series. And despite everything that I enjoyed, there's nothing particularly bad. I just struggle with the novella structure of this book and wanting more and wishing there was more. So it's just a 3-star read for me. I still think they're really good, and if you're interested in fantasy, it's definitely worth checking out. If you're intrigued by like the tropes and structure of fantasy as a genre, I think the commentary on that is very interesting. The next book that I got to was Sea of Monsters by Riordan, which is number 2 in the original Percy Jackson series. And this is a middle grade fantasy series. This is a reread for me, and my favorite part of this is thinking about how far we've come across all these books and through the multiple series that we have, and going back to the beginning and how everything started and seeing like baby Percy and baby Annabeth as well. We recently got the news that there's going to be another adaptation, but Rick Riordan is going to be at the helm of this one, so it might actually be good. And I am so excited for this. I have high hopes. Like, I'm not holding myself back. I have really high hopes for this show, and I cannot wait for it to come out. I can't believe we're probably gonna have to wait a couple years to get it. Oh, that's so painful. Next book on this list is Meet Cute, which is a YA contemporary romance kind of anthology, and it was edited by Jennifer L. Armentrout. And this, basically the prompt for this collection is all the stories have to do with meet cute moments, so the cute moment that a couple meets. And I really like the concept of it. Such a cute little, like, for fun thing to do. And I did enjoy seeing the different ways that authors interpreted this prompt. I think it kind of fell a little short for me. I have a hard time with anthologies as it is and short stories because I really like my stories to be very well developed, and I do struggle with how short stories have to be. Just by their nature, they're just not something I tend to enjoy. But I really like these anthologies to find new authors I've never heard of, or try out authors that I have heard of but haven't read from before, and just sort of get a feel for their style and writing and stuff. And this book, unfortunately, none of the stories really stuck out for me as really bad or as really good. They all sort of fell in like a 3-star range. I think another part of that is because it was just the meet cute moment. We just got this scenario around these people meeting. It felt like the stories like just needed more. I was like, okay, but where's the rest? And I think some of the stories dealt with that a little better than others. There were some stories where I was like, I'm satisfied with the end of the story and this being the start of them. And yet there were others where I was like, oh, it's over. Okay. And it just felt very abrupt. But again, short stories and the prompt itself, I think that just sort of combined together to make it hard for me to feel satisfied with these stories. Overall, I gave the book 3 stars. It was cute and it was fun, but it wasn't anything beyond that for me. The final book I want to talk about is also by S.K. Ali, and this one is her debut novel. It's called Saints and Misfits, and I was just so overjoyed with my experience with Love from A to Z that I like needed this book right away. Saints and Misfits is a YA contemporary, and we're following Jana, who is a teenage Muslim girl, and she's just dealing with so much. What I did enjoy is that S.K. Ali took on a lot for this character to sort through, and it's a very character-driven book. And I mean, she's got different characters she's working with, different friendships, like different kinds of friendships, and potential romances with maybe a non-Muslim boy, but also there's some potential with a Muslim guy that she's doing like a quiz thing. There's just so much happening. And I think it was handled relatively well. Like, nothing felt like too much, but at the same time, I almost wish the book was longer so that we could have spent more time unpacking some of these plots and some of the themes. It's taken me a while to sort of piece together why this book didn't live up to my expectations. And I think part of it is I might have hyped it up in my own head, for like one thing. And second of all, this story takes on a lot of different plots and themes and stuff that is just going on in Jana's life. And some of it's very heavy, and some of it's like, you know, fairly average teenage drama. And I think it's all woven together very well. I don't think it was too overburdened. What I actually think is that there was just so much going on that I wish we had spent a little bit more time unpacking and unraveling and exploring and talking about some of the stuff that was going on in the book. And I don't think the ball was really dropped on anything. I just kind of wanted more, and it felt like it wasn't there. There was just something missing. Now, this was also a debut book, and I think it's rather evident from her second book that her writing has improved and her skill has improved, and I will definitely read anything else by her. I did still enjoy this book. I just kind of wish I'd read them in the opposite order, and maybe I would have gotten more out of this book. That's it for my recent reads. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Just bit my tongue.